A Kenyan electoral commissioner has resigned after fleeing the country, citing lack of credibility in the planned election. In a statement from New York, sent from New York, Dr. Roselyn Akombe said she feared for her life and was also doubtful of the commission's ability to deliver a credible vote due to deep divisions along partisan lines. This comes as Kenya is gripped by anxiety as to whether elections will take place at all. Opposition leader Raila Odinga has withdrawn from the exercise and is calling upon his followers not to participate in the planned elections. The Supreme Court nullified the August 8th outcome and ordered for fresh polls in 60 days. Akombe's resignation adds to the woes faced by the electoral body, which has been under attack from opposition NASA coalition, which is calling for reforms before elections. Let's get more insights and analysis on this development from Daisy Amdani. She is a political analyst and the executive director for the Community Advocacy and Awareness Trust. Daisy, we appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
So a senior electoral official who's just resigned and fled the country fearing for her life, what are the implications of these on the upcoming election?
I think it's important to state that elections are not just about process, but also about the perception of having to have had a free, fair and credible process. That now has been called into question. The ability of IEBC to deliver a process that will be seen to be credible and that it will be seen to be free and fair. Already the Commissioner has said that IEBC can deliver an election. Whether it will be credible or free is the questioning point. So I think that we cannot run away from the significance of this resignation, especially at a time like this. And we must seriously consider the implications of it, because we know that elections in Kenya have been among the things that have really pushed this country to the brink of the precipice. So what we need now more than anything else is soberness and leadership, not political brinkmanship. IEBC as an independent body, their credibility is now seriously on the spot and in question. Can they deliver a credible election, and can they be seen to have delivered so? I think the answer is no right now.
Well, that just preempts my second question, because how significant a dent does this resignation and even her claims of divisions within the Electoral Commission have on the credibility of these polls?
I think it's important to recognize that one of the people who was a spokesperson for the IEBC and lent a lot of credibility to the work that IEBC were doing is Dr. Roselyn Akombe. She was the face of communications from the Commission. If you recall, a lot of the TV interviews were actually being done by her, and she was giving the assurances that the country needed to hear. So now when she turns around and says that she can no longer be part of a process that she feels is not credible, and that she has fled for fear of her life, and she's not willing to participate in a process that may plunge her country into problems, already that raises significant questions. And this is not just a legal issue or a constitutional issue, it's also a political crisis, because there are now allegations of partisanship within the IEBC, which also calls into question their independence, because it is supposed to be an independent body that is free from political manipulation and or coercion. So with allegations like that coming from the person who was actually the face of the communication of IEBC, IEBC has been dealt a very serious blow, and it is time for us to come together as Kenyans and to begin to discuss very seriously what this means. Indeed, the Supreme Court has ordered the election within a certain time frame, but there's nothing that stops IEBC from going to court and seeking an extension of that time for the purposes of being able to iron out the issues. Don't forget that the IEBC themselves said that one of the issues, remember the ruling that came from Justice Mativo, insisting that the other candidate, Ekuru Aukot, must be included on the ballot. One of the things they said is that because of the configuration of the KIMS kits, they will not be able to add all the other candidates who subsequently they have included in the poll. Yet the law requires that the transmission of results be done electronically. So if the KIMS kits have only been configured for 2 candidates and we have another 5 or 6 other candidates, what does that tell us? That IEBC will not be able to meet the requirements even of the law for the electronic transmission of results. So this has already lays the groundwork for anybody to go and petition the court. So I think as Kenyans, we need to sober up and we need to ask ourselves, what then, now that we are at this point, and it is not too late for us to make a decision, but IEBC remains right now the body that can save Kenyans from, you know, too much anxiety by actually going to the Supreme Court and seeking an extension of the time.
All right, let's leave it there. For now, we're time constrained. Thank you very much for those insights. Daisy Amjani in studio with us.